Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Monday, everyone. I hope all those lovely moms out there enjoyed their Mother's Day. We had a pretty good one here at the McGahee household. Went out to a China buffet here in Austin and just destroyed the buffet. So much good food to eat. All came back with full bellies, and then we bought this little inflatable pool at Costco on Saturday, and the kids spent literally all day playing in the thing. There's a little inflatable bench too that I sat there, had a couple beers. I got a little red. The kids definitely got sunburned, but overall we had a really good time. So hopefully all you good moms had a good Mother's Day as well. But let's get down to business, guys. There is a lot of stuff to talk about. I wanted to do a podcast yesterday because it was my day off, but got caught up in the Mother's Day madness. So I'm planning on doing one today, hopefully one tomorrow, and then maybe one on Friday. We'll see how it goes. Of course, everyone knows this week, Deadpool 2, the big movie coming out. I think I'm probably going to go see it on Saturday is probably when I'm going to go see it. Hopefully you guys are going to check it out. Sunday, I'm planning on doing a spoilers review. I'll probably do one with Lisa. So check that out Sunday night, guys. Okay, starting off the top first, I want to give a brief mention. Today it was announced that actress Margot Kidder, best known for her role as Lois Lane in the 1978 Superman film and the preceding films, Superman 2, Superman 3, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. She passed away in her home in Livingston, Montana at the age of 69. Now, Kidder, of course, nailed it as Lois Lane back in the Richard Donner Superman film. I recently watched that film, and it's just great. Everyone really brings it, especially Kidder. She is great as Lois Lane, and I actually met her many years ago at a Comic-Con in Chicago. Just briefly, she was getting her table set up for autographs, and I just went up and shook her hand, said hi, told her I love Superman, I love Smallville when she would guest start on it and all that stuff. She said thank you, and it was just not even a minute, but it was just something. I said hi to her, but anyway, she passed away this morning, and it's sad. It's definitely sad. I remember years ago when Chris Reeves passed away, I wore Superman shirts for a week in kind of mourning. I think I've been meaning to check out the 3-hour TV cut of Superman the movie. I got it on Blu-ray last month, and I still haven't watched it. I've been meaning to watch it, and I think this little thing, in honor of her passing, I might just sit down tonight and do that. Now, Kidder was diagnosed many years ago with bipolar disorder and had a little bit of trouble, but she persevered nonetheless. She was an activist back in 2011. She got arrested protesting the Keystone Pipeline. So it's always nice when you see your heroes on movies and TV actually act heroic in real life. So sad to see her go, but we all mourn her and celebrate her life. So please sit down, watch something of hers. Of course, she's been in other films such as Amityville Horror and Black Christmas and Sisters. But, of course, she's most known for Superman. So watch Superman or watch something with her in it sometime soon to celebrate the life of Margot Kidder. Okay, so first official piece of news, guys. I am going way back, actually. There's a lot of stuff that happened, I feel like, in the last 5 days. So let's just go back here. So it was announced last week that Academy Award nominee Annette Bening is joining the cast of Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. Now, we don't quite know what role she was going to play. However, there's a rumor she was said to be playing a scientist. Now, the latest rumor said that she might be playing Carol Danvers' mother. Carol Danvers is, of course, the character that Brie Larson is playing, aka Captain Marvel. Now, Annette Bening has a long and distinguished career, definitely one of the most celebrated and honored actresses in Hollywood today, and having her join this cast is just great. I will say, having her play her mother, I feel like might be a little slant because I feel like it won't be a big, juicy part. I loved in Captain America the Winter Soldier, you got Robert Redford, a guy who, definitely distinguished and honored and celebrated as a serious actor doing a comic book film. And then you also had Anthony Hopkins, again, distinguished, great actor in Thor. They both had good, juicy parts in each of these films. And I feel like if Annette Bening is just playing Carol Danvers' mom, it's not going to be a role that she can really sink her teeth into. But the film is set to come out March 8th, 2019. You got Brie Larson in it. Then you got Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, Jude Law as Mar-Vell, Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, and Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser. That's right, because we're going back in time. 90s is when it takes place, back when Nick Fury had both his eyes. It's my thought that I think we're definitely going to see Nick Fury lose an eye. There's that line in Winter Soldier when he's like, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. And I think that's going to happen. People are thinking we're going to see the Kree-Skrull war in this, or the conflict, and Carol's going to come in and kind of help solve that. So the fact that we're getting the shape-shifting Skrulls makes me believe that there's some kind of shapeshifter on Earth. Nick Fury trusts him, and that's how he loses the eye. That's just me spitballing ideas, of course. I don't really know anyone who's not excited to see this movie after the post-credit scene in Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, what are you doing listening to me? Do you know me at all? Get out of here. Go watch it. Watch it twice, in fact, and then come back. But people were asking at the end of Infinity War the beeper and the symbol, and people were like, what's the snowflake? What is that? It's Captain Marvel, people, okay? We're going to see probably her give Nick Fury that beeper in this film before she goes off into space for a couple of decades, and then is coming back for Avengers 4 to save the day. Again, just me spitballing ideas here. But the fact that Infinity War has been so well received, people can't wait for Avengers 4. But of course, there are more questions. And one of the questions is, how does Captain Marvel fit into this? And I think that's really going to intensify the audience for Captain Marvel that comes out in March, just a few months before Avengers Infinity War. I know it got me more excited to see this film, and I was already excited for it. So we got Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out next month, and I'm curious to see how that's going to fit in, because that's supposed to take place a little bit before Infinity War. Maybe we'll see like either Ant-Man or Wasp fade away in a dust, like some of the other characters did in Infinity War. I don't know, but back to the original story here. Annette Bening, great actress. So glad that she is just bringing her distinguished reputation to this comic book film, much like many actors are. And I feel like it's just, making them more and more legit in Hollywood. It's just never a mistake to add talent to any film, no matter what it is. So there you go, guys. Okay, next up, we have our first trailer for the film The Predator, directed by Shane Black. The film stars Olivia Munn, Sterling K. Brown, Jacob Tremblay, Thomas Jane, Edward James Olmos. Just a really good cast going on with this. On top of it, Yvonne Strahovski. I know I said that wrong, but I'll know her as Sarah from Chuck, which is, I hope how some of you know her, or she was on The Handmaid's Tale, I know, and she was on Dexter. So, any event, she's on my 5. She's on my 5 celebrities. She's awesome. Any event, yes, Predator. Where was I? I drifted off there for a sec. Predator, directed by Shane Black. The film is set to come out September 14th. This is the next in line of several Predator films we've gotten throughout the years, just the newest interpretation of the franchise. So the first trailer came out, I watched it, and honestly, I wasn't impressed with it. Now, Shane Black has been a writer in Hollywood for quite some time. He's been doing his thing. He's directed several films, but really done a lot of writing. He's written the Lethal Weapon movies. He's written Last Action Hero, and he's directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys, which are 2 very good films. Just, if you haven't seen them, I highly recommend them. So he's definitely got talent. He did an MCU movie, Iron Man 3, And I gotta say, it's one of my least favorite, if not my least favorite, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that kind of has me doubting him a little bit, but at the same time, again, Kick Kiss Bang Bang and Nice Guys were great films. He knows how to write, obviously, from all these other movies that he's written and done a great job with. So it's kind of a toss-up. The trailer just didn't get me. I don't know what angle they're playing at. Is it going to be Predator in the city, or what's going on? I don't know, guys. Check out the trailer. Judge for yourself. I like the Predator franchise. I don't love it, but I've seen all the movies, so it's good. But I don't know. I want to see something more to kind of win me over, because what I saw here did not win me over. And I will say this, just as a little side note. I like Olivia Munn. I love her in the HBO show The Newsroom. I feel like she hasn't gotten a lot of good parts, because I know what she can do by watching The Newsroom, and she's great. But parts she's been given in films don't really showcase what she can do. She played Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse, which I think would be a great role for her, but there were so many other characters in that film, she didn't really have time to shine or even, act at all. She just looked good in the purple outfit, which I'm not going to complain too much about. But in this one, she looks like she might be playing some kind of scientist, perhaps. And as much as I believe in her acting talents, I don't think it's a good role for her. I don't know. This definitely has a good cast to it. It just depends on how Mr. Black decides to use them and how they go into the story. We'll just have to wait and see about this. But so far, I wasn't impressed for it. You guys fire back on the social media account and the Gmail account. Let me know what you think of the first trailer for Predator. Okay, guys, this will probably be the last story of the day, because I'm probably going to run over after I talk about this. So, this little film coming out called Solo, a Star Wars story? You might have heard of it. I've already bought my tickets. I'm all set to go for it. Well, they had the premiere last week on Thursday, and Jon Favreau, who is set to be doing a Star Wars series for the upcoming Disney streaming service, was on the red carpet, and he was asked a question about the series, and he actually gave us a little bit of notes. He said that the series is going to take place 7 years after the Battle of Endor between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. It's going to feature new characters and use cutting-edge technology via the Jungle Book. So this is great. This is our first kind of solid piece of news we got about the new Star Wars that is coming post Episode 9. We know Rian Johnson is working on something. We know Benioff and Weiss, the guys in charge of Game of Thrones, they're working on something as well. And Favreau is doing this series for Disney. There's a lot of room to play with, because between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, there's 30 years. That's a lot of story. That's more even in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. That was only 19 to 20 years. Now we're talking 30 years. There's a lot to play with, and it was my hope that after The Last Jedi, after we got that story about what happened between Luke and Kylo and how Ben Solo turned to the dark side, that they would start filling it in. And it looks like they're doing that with the new animated show, Star Wars Resistance. We got this show coming out. I'd like to hear, a couple more books, especially the two stories I really want to hear are, first off, Luke and Ben. We know in the book Bloodlines, that take place about 6 or 7 years before The Force Awakens, that Ben Solo has yet to become Kylo Ren. And they're going around looking for artifacts, searching the galaxy for Jedi stuff. I want to see that. I want to see that adventure, that journey. I'd love to see something like that, even if it's in a book or book series. And then, of course, the other story I want to see is Ahsoka and Sabine going out into the unknown regions, trying to look for Ezra. If you've seen the Rebels finale, I'm sure you're just excited to hear that story as I am, especially since now you know that Filoni's working on the Resistance animated series. Give me a book, give me a comic book, I don't care. Just give me that story. Make sure Dave Filoni has input on it, so I know it'll be great. But this series, of course, like I said, there's so much to do. Of course, new characters. Now, there are people complaining, oh, why do we have to do this? Why? It's same old. I know, it takes place within the Skywalker time period, I guess you could say. But so did Rebels, so did Rogue One, so did a lot of stories that introduce us to a lot more characters than just the original characters, Luke, Han, Leia, and everyone else. I can see them, structuring stuff around it. I mean, for all we know, this could be in a corner of the galaxy that is far away from the Rebellion and the Empire and the First Order. But again, I want to see that 30-year time gap filled in, and this is part of it. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You also have the Battlefront 2 storyline in there. That fills in some of it as well. I want to start filling the holes, okay? Some people, they want to see something new. They want to see new time periods, new storylines. They want to see stuff away from characters that we know. I understand that. But as a guy who loves Star Wars, I think we're going to get new characters with different journeys and new storylines set in a time period that we're familiar with, and it's going to give that little bit of a comfort factor. Now, Favreau has also said he's already halfway through writing for season 1, so it's a lot of stuff to get excited about. I hope you're excited about it too. The Disney streaming service, something else I got to subscribe to. I knew I was going to have to subscribe to it anyway, but I got the DC Universe thing I got to subscribe to. I got this off to subscribe to. Netflix, Hulu. It's too much, man. They're taking too much of my money. I'm going to get a second job just to support my streaming habit. It's horrible. But all right, guys. Well, that is it for me today. Like I said, hopefully tomorrow I'll be back with some more news that I want to cover because I've only just begun to talk about the news that has happened within the last week. So I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully you'll join me then. But fire back on the social media groups, Facebook group, Twitter, and then, of course, dayswingdiscussing@gmail.com. What did you think of the Predator trailer? Did you like it? I was a little underwhelmed by it, but again, I'm not the biggest Predator fan. If you are, let me know why you're excited about it. We got Jon Favreau, of course, giving us details about Star Wars, the TV series. Let me know what you think about that. And, of course, Annette Bening, Captain Marvel. Are you more excited for Captain Marvel after seeing Infinity War, or are you just more curious about who Captain Marvel is? Fire back, guys. Let me know. As per usual, you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram, SlimDayspring12. That's it for me. Like I said, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Until then, may the Force be with us all.